Adding and subtracting decimals. Made easy. Example number 1. We want to add these two numbers together. Step 1 is to rewrite this. We're going to have 23.85. And now, when we put down our second number, we want to make sure that we align the decimals together. So we have 1.604. As you can see here, the decimals are aligned. Now we can go ahead and add this. Let's look at the first column. We have 4 plus nothing, so that means we just bring down the 4. Now, looking at the second column, we have 5 plus 0, which is 5. The third column here is 8 plus 6, which gives us 14. That means we bring the second digit here and the first digit on top. If you need help adding numbers like this, click on this link. I made a video on it. From here, we bring down the decimal, which is in the next column. That goes there. Now, let's look at the other column here. We have 1 plus 3 plus 1. That's going to give us 5. And now the last column, we only have a 2 there. That means we just bring it down. So, our final answer is 25.454. And this example is complete. Example number 2. We want to add these three numbers together. Let's start by rewriting the equation. The first number is going to be 763.7651. Now let's write the second number, but we make sure that we align the decimals. 22.001. And then we write down the third number, 43.89. We're going to add all of these together. So as we can see, all of our decimals are aligned. Now let's start adding these numbers column by column. Looking at the first column, we just have a 1. We're going to bring that down to the bottom. The second column is 5 plus 1, which gives us 6. The third column is 6 plus 0 plus 9, which is 15. So we keep the 5 there and put a 1 on top. Now we have 1 plus 7 plus 0 plus 8. That's going to give us 16. So we take the second digit, keep it there, and then put the 1 on top here. Now we're at our decimals. We're just going to go ahead and write that down. Now let's look at this column. We have 1 plus 3 plus 2 plus 3. That's going to give us 9. Looking at the next column, we have 6 plus 2 plus 4, which is 12. So put the 2 here, and then 1 on top. And now the last column is 1 plus 7. That's going to give us 8. So, rewriting this, 829.6561 is our final answer. And this example is complete. Example number 3. We want to subtract these two numbers. Step number 1. Let's go ahead and rewrite this. So we have 85. And now, we do not see a decimal. That means that the decimal is going to be at the end of the number here. Let's go ahead and rewrite the second number and align the decimals. 0.31. Now we can go ahead and subtract. As we can see, there are no numbers above the 3 and the 1. That means we're going to add a 0 here. Since 1 is larger than 0, that means it cannot subtract. That means I have to borrow. So I can't borrow from the number next to it since it's a 0 as well. That means I have to borrow from the 5 here. Borrowing from the 5, that becomes a 4. This becomes a 10. And now I have to borrow from this 10 here. Borrowing from this 10, this becomes a 9. And this becomes a 10. If you need help subtracting numbers, click on this link. I made a video on it. Now let's look at the first column. We have 10 minus 1. that's going to give us a 9. Looking at the second column, we have 9 minus 3. That's going to give us 6. Now we can go ahead and bring down these decimals, like that. Looking at the next column, the 7 is larger than the 4. That means I have to borrow. Borrowing from this 8, it'll become a 7. And now our 4 becomes a 14. Now we can look at the column and subtract. 14 minus 7 gives us 7. Looking at the next column, 7 minus 1 gives us 6. So 67.69 is our final answer. This example is complete.